Caleb Dunn staggered through the sun-scorched desert, his boots kicking up clouds of dust with each faltering step. For 3 days, the relentless sun had beaten down on him, and his canteen had run dry that morning. Hunger gnawed at his stomach, a constant reminder of the poker game in Cedar Ridge where he'd lost everything, his horse, his money, even his father's cherished pocket watch. All that remained was his pride, and even that was fraying. Through the shimmering heat waves, a homestead appeared like a mirage. A sturdy wooden house nestled between 2 hills, its chimney trailing a thin wisp of smoke. Caleb blinked, half convinced his mind was playing tricks, but the structure held firm. Hope flickered in his chest as he stumbled forward. On the wide porch sat 6 women, their simple dresses clean and neat. Unlike the wary townsfolk who saw Caleb as a drifter, these women watched him with calm, curious eyes. The eldest, with silver-streaked dark hair, stood slowly. "You look like you need water, stranger," she said, her gaze piercing. Caleb's throat was so parched he could barely croak, "Yes, ma'am. I'd be grateful." "I'm Magnolia, Maggie," she said after a pause, glancing at the others. A silent exchange passed between them, a language of nods and glances Caleb couldn't read. "These are my sisters, Cora, Violet, Ruby, Suddy, and Mercy." Sisters. They shared no resemblance, yet an unspoken bond united them. "What's your name, son?" "Caleb Dunn," he replied, his stomach growling loudly. The women smiled. Maggie chuckled. "Come up to the porch." "Mercy, fetch water." "Cora, fix a plate." As Caleb climbed the steps, his legs trembling, he noticed their cryptic glances again. Something was happening here, something beyond his understanding. But the cool water and promise of food dulled his questions, for now. The meal was a revelation, fresh bread, tender beef, sweet vegetables. Yet it wasn't the food that unsettled him. It was their watchful eyes, studying his every move. "You've been alone a while," Violet, a sharp-eyed woman with auburn hair, observed. Caleb nodded. "Since spring. Lost everything in a card game." "Everything?" Ruby asked, her voice warm but firm. "Family too?" The question struck deep. "My pa died 2 winters back." "Consumption." "Ma followed a month later. Had a sister, Sarah, but she moved east with her preacher husband. Haven't heard from her in years." The women exchanged looks again, not pity but something like recognition. "No brothers or sisters?" Suddy, the youngest, asked softly. Caleb shifted, uneasy under their scrutiny. "Why all the questions?" Maggie leaned forward. "We've all been where you are, Caleb, lost, with nowhere to go. We came here the same way. This house belongs to us," Mercy, tall with prematurely white hair, said. "It was built by Eleanor Whitmore, my grandmother. She had a gift, saw potential in people they didn't see themselves. When she died, she left instructions." Caleb's skin prickled. "What instructions?" "That this house be a refuge for specific lost souls," Maggie said, her eyes locking onto his. "People meant to find their way here." Ruby added, "Eleanor left a list, names, descriptions, arrival dates. Your name's in her book, Caleb, along with today's date and the circumstances that brought you here." Caleb's heart pounded. He looked at his faded blue shirt and worn leather vest, exactly as described. "You're saying she knew I'd come before I was born?" Mercy opened an aged leather book, revealing his name, birth details, and losses in Eleanor's precise script. Caleb's hands shook. "How?" "She saw the threads connecting people," Cora explained. "She saw you'd come, and why you're needed." "Why?" Caleb whispered. Ruby touched his hand. "To help us finish what Eleanor started." Violet gazed out the window. "The railroad's coming in 2 years. Land prices will soar. Eleanor foresaw this, bought thousands of acres under different names. She died before completing her plan. Maggie showed him a map marked with red X's, forming a pattern around the territory. She needed someone skilled in surveying, land documents, and legal matters. Someone like you. Caleb's father, a surveyor, had taught him those skills. How could she know? She saw your future, like ours, Mercy said. We've managed her properties, waiting for you to claim the final pieces. Ruby smiled. Eleanor's plan will make us the wealthiest landowners in 3 territories, rich enough to help countless lost souls. Maggie's voice softened. If you walk away, we'll give you supplies and a horse. But if you stay, this becomes your home. We become your family. The grandfather clock chimed, and Caleb sensed they were holding something back. What aren't you telling me? Maggie sighed, turning the book's page. Caleb read. Upon Caleb's arrival, Thomas Garrett will discover Eleanor's deception within 7 days. He'll come with men and weapons. Caleb's legal knowledge will be their salvation, if he stays. Who's Thomas Garrett? Caleb asked. Eleanor's stepson, Violet said grimly. He inherited her husband's estate but doesn't know about her land purchases. If he finds out, he'll claim them by force. He's dangerous, Suddy added. He's got gunmen, claim jumpers, and corrupt lawyers. Caleb examined Eleanor's legal documents, meticulous deeds and records. How long do I have to decide? 6 days, Violet said. Thomas moves within a week. Hoofbeats interrupted them. Ruby peered out. 3 riders, coming fast. Maggie's face hardened. It's starting. The riders stopped short of the property, one raising a spyglass before retreating. Scouts, Mercy said. Thomas is preparing. Caleb's mind raced. Why didn't Eleanor leave this to legitimate heirs? She wanted a lasting refuge, not land sold off, Maggie explained. The railroad's wealth will fund that vision, if we survive. A new sound, wood cracking outside, broke the tension. Ruby doused the lamp. They're testing us, she whispered. Footsteps creaked on the back porch. Maggie's voice was steady. Decision time, Caleb. Are you with us? As the door creaked open, Caleb knew he'd already chosen. These women were worth fighting for. A young man, Billy Morrison, stepped inside, clutching a rifle nervously. Mr. Garrett wants to talk. He knows about the stranger. He offers $1,000 to leave tonight, or no one lives to see the railroad. Ruby laughed coldly. He's scared. Caleb stepped forward. Billy, how long have you worked for Thomas? Since my pa died. I've got a sick sister to care for. Maggie offered a pouch of money. Enough for your sister's needs. Help us instead. Tell us Thomas's plan. Billy hesitated, then confessed. 6 gunmen from Kansas City, camped 2 miles south. They attack tomorrow night, new moon, to make it look like a robbery. Mercy revealed Eleanor's strategy, an abandoned mineshaft, secretly a fortress with weapons and escape routes. We can hold them off if we reach it tonight. Caleb devised a plan. Billy, tell Thomas I'm leaving. I'll ride out in Robert Whitmore's coat, let his scouts see me, then circle back through the mine's tunnels. By midnight, they were in the fortress. Eleanor's foresight had provided everything, rifles, supplies, and a metal box of evidence, witness statements, records, and a confession implicating Thomas in her husband's murder 20 years ago. At dawn, Thomas arrived with 12 men, surrounding the mine. Come out, and we'll talk, he shouted. Violet retorted, civilized people don't murder for land. Thomas's tone turned cold. Cleverness won't stop bullets. Caleb called back, the U.S. Marshal might. Billy appeared with 3 marshals, a judge, and a recorder. Maggie held the evidence box. Eleanor sent copies to the authorities, to be opened when you attacked. The judge held up a confession from Thomas's accomplice. Defeated, Thomas's men surrendered. As he was led away, Caleb felt the weight of Eleanor's vision settle into reality. "Now we go home," Ruby said. "We build Eleanor's dream." "And when the railroad comes?" Suddy asked. Maggie smiled. "We become the wealthiest family in 3 territories." Billy approached. "What about my sister?" "Your family now," Cora said. As the sun rose, Caleb stood with his new family, knowing Eleanor hadn't just predicted the future, she'd shaped it, giving 7 lost souls a home and a purpose. Justice was served, and their new chapter began.